Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. Please hit that like and subscribe button and let's get right into today's video. So again, we will be doing this on the practice hand. I did go ahead and apply the nail tips to the practice hand for the natural nail bed area. And then for the actual nail tips, I will be using these clear coffin extra long nail tips. So quickly, I'm just sizing them out to make sure they fit nicely to sidewall to sidewall. And then I will be going ahead and applying them using my 𝐵𝐼𝐿𝐿 nail glue. Now, the reason I am using coffin nail tips for today is because, as you've seen by the thumbnail, probably I will be doing some almond nails, and it's best for me, honestly, to use coffin nail tips to achieve that nail shape. But you can use whatever nail tip you like. I just prefer to use coffin nail tips to get the nice almond look. So for the length, I will be using 4 magnets, and this will kind of help me achieve like a medium to short length for today's set. And then I will be taking these short, tiny little curved nail clippers and trimming off the sides of each of these nail tips to kind of help lessen my filing time when it's time to shape these into the almond shape. Now that we have the nail tips trimmed and everything, it is time to file them. So I'm just taking my hand file and just shaping up the sidewalls to kind of taper them in. And then I will go ahead and start rounding out the nail tip to get the nice almond shape. If you are interested in a more in-depth video of nail shaping, I do have that in my beginner's basics playlist if you're interested, like I said, in watching how I shape each of these nail shapes. And then after shaping up those nail tips, I'm just quickly blending in the nail tip with the natural nail so that way when I go with my application, it is nice and seamless and smooth. So for the acrylic today, I will be using the color Pum Pum from Acrylics. I do have a discount code with her. It is linked down below along with her link to her website. And using my code, it does save you 20% on your purchases. So I highly recommend checking out her products. They are very amazing, and like I said, I highly recommend them. So starting with application, I am taking a medium-sized bead of acrylic and applying it where the nail tip and the natural nail meet, and I am just gently blending it down towards the free edge. I am also making sure to wipe the sidewalls to keep the nice almond shape that we do have. And then once I'm done with that, I will be going in with another medium-sized bead of acrylic and start building up the cuticle and like the apex area and the structure that the nail needs. Now keep in mind when I am doing sets on like a practice hand or just any pop-off set, I am not building the nail up too thick because since it is just a practice set, I don't want to waste my acrylic on practice sets that aren't going to be stayed on or like be worn for a couple weeks. So that's why you don't really see the structure of me doing that, because I don't really build it up, if that makes any sense at all. But I will go ahead and let you guys watch the rest of the application process, and I will come back in when it's time to shape and file. Now that the application is nicely done and dried, it's time to file, so I will be using this fine 5-in-1 tapered drill bit and going around the cuticle area just to make sure everything is nice and flush. And for reference, I do have my drill at the speed of 9,000 RPMs when doing any finish filing with my e-file. Then next, I will be taking the medium grit sanding band from Nails and Blings and going around the cuticle area once more, and then I will also be working that over the entire surface of the nail to smooth it out even further from that acrylic application. Next, I'm just taking my hand file and reshaping these nails back to the nice almond shape that we did have. Just making sure to kind of like taper in the, not the e-file, but taper in the hand file a little bit so you can keep the nice roundness on the sidewalls, and then rounding off the nail tip, like the free edge, to keep the nice pointed almond shape as well. And then lastly, since we will be doing some nail art, I am buffing the nails. So I'm just taking this mini buffer and buffing over the entire surface of each of these nails. And then later on, I will be going ahead and cleaning off the practice hand before doing the nail art. So to clean my practice hand, I am just taking this brush and a little bit of alcohol and wiping away all that nail dust. And I will go ahead and do that to the entire practice hand, so that way none of that nail dust transfers to the nail art later on. So for today's nail art, we will be needing a few products. So I will be using the classic white gel polish from KAIROSE Nail Supply, this very beautiful blue gel polish that I did get off at Amazon, and like this 42 gel polish kit. I will also be using this blue acrylic powder, this solid nail glue gel, some rhinestone glue gel, and some of these little like gold caviar beads, I think is what they're called. I will be using that as well. So to start off, I am just going ahead and applying some of that white gel polish to my mixing plate, and then I will be applying some of that blue gel polish on top of that to kind of create like a baby blue type of color, and then also applying some of that blue to the side because I will need the darker blue as well. So to do my French tips, I am using this 20mm liner brush and outlining the smile lines, and then I will go ahead and infill them. So I'm only doing French tips on the pinky, ring, and index finger for today's set. After I am done doing all the French tips, I will go ahead and cure this in the light for a full 30 seconds. Next, I will be taking the smoky eye makeup brush and that blue acrylic powder and dipping it in there and then kind of tapping it onto the free edge of each of the nails with the French tips, just to kind of create that nice like ombre look with the dark and blue at the free edge. You can also use the airbrush machine to do this effect, but I prefer to use acrylic when necessary. So like if I don't have to use my airbrush machine, I will just go ahead and use whatever pigmented acrylic I do have for that look. So I will be doing that trendy 3D like flower that people have been doing with like the solid glue gel, or some people do with acrylic, but I will be using the solid glue gel for today. So what I am doing is I am taking the opposite end of a cuticle pusher and dipping that into the clear acrylic, and then scooping up a tiny amount of that the solid glue gel, and then I am dipping my thumb and my index finger into the clear acrylic powder to kind of help prevent the solid glue gel from sticking to my fingers. And then after I get that nicely formed, I will go ahead and apply that to the nail. And then I don't have a silicone tool that people use, so I'm just using this rhinestone picker to kind of form the actual petal of each of these like for the flower. I am absolutely horrible at explaining how to do things, and I didn't realize that I didn't have the acrylic in frame as well with the solid glue gel, so you don't really see the process of me picking any of that up. But to kind of explain it again while the rest of this goes on, I am just dipping the opposite end of the cuticle pusher into my clear acrylic, and then scraping up a tiny amount of that solid glue gel, and then dipping my thumb and index finger into the clear acrylic to kind of help prevent the solid glue gel from sticking. And then after that, I will go ahead and apply that to the nail, and then I will be using my rhinestone picker to form the inside part of the petals for the flowers. So since these two were the last petals I did have to do, I am just doing them at the same time rather than curing in between each petal. So I did go ahead and do that same process to them, and then after that I will go ahead and cure this for a full 30 seconds to make sure it's nice and cured before we move on. Now that we have the flower nicely cured, I am just taking a lint-free wipe and some alcohol and wiping away all that clear acrylic that might have gotten attached to that. And so here I did kind of mess up on this, and you will see me kind of wipe it away, but I did start using that darker blue gel polish into the inside of the petals, but I realized I was supposed to be using that lighter blue color first. So here in a second I will just be taking a lint-free wipe and some alcohol and wiping that away, and then I will be going in with the light blue color and doing the inside part of the petals. Now me personally, I don't really care if the inside part of these look messy or like perfect. I prefer the messier look like this because I feel like it just creates so much like dimension and detail to the actual flower itself. So once I am done doing this lighter blue portion, I will go ahead and cure for just about 10 seconds to flash cure, and then I will be going in with that darker blue color and doing the same exact thing, but more focused in like the center portion of this flower. And then after that, I will go ahead and cure this in the light for a full 30 seconds. And then next, I'm just taking that rhinestone glue from Model 1s and applying a tiny amount to the center of this flower, and then I will be applying 3 of those gold caviar beads to the center, and then curing that as well for about 15 seconds before we move on to the rest of the nail art. So for the rest of the nail art, I am just doing those 3D lines that are at the tip of the French tip. So I'm just taking that same rhinestone glue from Model 1s and dipping the nail brush into that and picking up a decent size of that rhinestone glue and creating those 3D lines. And then I am doing the ring finger in the opposite direction of the pinky and the index finger. And then after that, I will go ahead and cure this in the light for a full 30 seconds. So these are what the nails are looking like so far. I did last second decide to add these cute little rhinestones to the nails. So I'm just taking a little bit of that rhinestone glue and applying it above those 3D lines on the French tips. And I will be doing that to the rest of the nails and then curing in the light for a full 30 seconds. Now that we have the nail art completely finished, it is time to top coat. So I will be using the classic diamond gel top coat from KAIROSE Nail Supply. If you're interested in any of our products, I do have the link down below as always. And if you use code YouTube, it does save you 15% on your purchases. Once I am done applying the top coat to each of these nails, I will go ahead and cure them in the light for a full 60 seconds. But But that is pretty much the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!